Most people think financial freedom begins with $1 million. It doesn't. In fact, if you ask someone struggling to pay rent what financial freedom looks like, they'll probably tell you something very different. Maybe it's buying groceries without checking the total. Maybe it's filling the gas tank all the way instead of stopping at $20. Maybe it's answering an unknown phone call without worrying that it's another bill collector. Financial freedom isn't a finish line. It's a series of invisible doors. Most people spend their entire lives trying to reach the last one while never realizing they've already walked through the first few. The strange part is that every level changes more than your bank account. It changes the way you sleep, the way you think, the way you plan your future, the way the world responds to you. Because money doesn't simply buy things, it removes problems, and every problem it removes reveals another one waiting behind it. By the end of this journey, you'll understand why someone earning $50,000 can feel richer than someone earning $500,000. You'll discover why some millionaires still feel trapped, and you'll see why the highest level of financial freedom has almost nothing to do with money at all. It starts with the place millions of people wake up every morning.
Level 1. Survival. Your alarm rings at 6:15. Before your eyes fully open, your mind is already doing math. Rent is due in 6 days. Your electricity bill came yesterday. Your credit card payment is tomorrow. Your checking account isn't empty, but it might as well be. Every dollar already belongs to someone else. You don't think about vacations. You think about making it until Friday. The grocery store isn't a place where you buy what you want. It's a place where you negotiate with reality. Brand name cereal stays on the shelf. Fresh steak becomes frozen chicken. Sometimes frozen chicken becomes instant noodles. Not because you don't deserve better, because numbers made the decision before you walk through the door. A strange thing happens at this level. Your entire personality begins adapting to scarcity. You say no to invitations because eating out means sacrificing groceries. You ignore phone calls because unexpected conversations often become unexpected expenses. You postpone doctor appointments. You ignore strange noises coming from your car. You convince yourself everything can wait one more month. Eventually, survival becomes normal. You stop dreaming about getting ahead. You simply hope nothing goes wrong. The truth is, the biggest cost of living at this level isn't financial. It's mental. Every decision consumes energy. Every purchase carries guilt. Every setback feels permanent. The first lesson of financial freedom isn't learning how to invest. It's escaping survival mode. Because no one can build wealth while they're constantly putting out fires. Then something small changes. Not overnight. Not dramatically. Quietly.
Level 2. Stability. It begins with a single number, $1,000. Maybe it's your first emergency fund. Maybe it's 2 paychecks sitting untouched. Whatever the amount is, something inside you changes. Your washing machine breaks. Instead of panic, you pay for the repair. Your tire blows out on the highway. Instead of reaching for a credit card, you use your savings. The repair still hurts, but it doesn't destroy your month. For the first time in years, bad luck doesn't automatically become debt. That's when you realize something. Money isn't just about buying things. It's about buying time, buying options, buying peace. Your sleep improves. You don't check your banking app 6 times a day anymore. Unexpected expenses become inconveniences instead of emergencies. Friends notice you're less stressed. They assume your income increased. Sometimes it didn't. What actually increased was your margin for error, and margin creates breathing room. But stability introduces a new challenge. Comfort. It's easy to believe you've made it. After all, compared to where you started, life feels completely different. You can afford dinner out once in a while. You replace worn-out shoes before holes appear. You stop living paycheck to paycheck. But comfort has a dangerous habit. It convinces people to stop climbing. Because surviving feels terrible. Stability feels amazing. Yet stability isn't freedom. You're still trading time for money. One missed paycheck could still change everything. One medical emergency could still erase years of progress. You've escaped survival, but your future still depends entirely on tomorrow's paycheck. Real freedom begins when money stops controlling every decision, and that's exactly what happens at the next level. You don't notice the change immediately. There isn't a celebration. No certificate arrives in the mail. No one congratulates you. The biggest milestones in your financial life are usually invisible. One morning, your manager asks if you can stay late again. A year ago, you would have said yes without thinking. Not because you wanted to, because you couldn't afford to say no. This time, you pause. You already worked 50 hours this week. Your family is waiting at home. You politely decline. On the drive home, something feels different. For the first time in years, money didn't make the decision. You did. Welcome to the next level. Level 3. Choice. This is where financial freedom stops looking like numbers and starts looking like control. You don't have unlimited money. You simply have enough breathing room to make decisions based on what matters instead of what scares you. You can leave a job that's destroying your mental health, not because you have another offer, because your savings buy you time to find one. You can take a vacation without spending months recovering financially. You can spend a Saturday with your parents instead of working another shift. These moments seem ordinary to people who've never lived without them. To everyone else, they're priceless. The strange thing about choice is that it changes your confidence. When you're desperate, every opportunity feels like your only opportunity. You tolerate toxic bosses, you accept unfair pay, you stay in places that slowly drain your ambition. Because fear whispers the same sentence every day. What if nothing better comes? Choice silences that voice. Not completely, but enough to hear your own thoughts again. You begin reading books about investing. You listen to finance podcasts during your commute. You stop asking, how can I survive this month? Instead, you ask, what would make my life easier 5 years from now? That's a completely different question, because survival thinks about tomorrow. Freedom thinks about the future. Then something remarkable happens. Your money begins doing something it has never done before. It starts working while you aren't. Level 4. Opportunity. At first, it's barely noticeable. A dividend arrives in your account. Interest appears without you lifting a finger. Your investment portfolio grows while you're asleep. The amount isn't life-changing. Not yet. But the lesson is, for your entire life, you believed income only came from labor. Hours worked, shifts completed, paychecks earned. Now you're introduced to another kind of income. Capital. Money creating more money. It's one of the most powerful ideas in personal finance because it changes your relationship with time. Imagine planting a tree. The first year, it barely grows. The second year, it's still small. Someone walking past might laugh and ask why you bothered. But 10 years later, that same tree produces fruit every season without asking permission. Investing works the same way. The hardest part isn't understanding compound growth. It's believing in it long enough to benefit from it. Most people quit too early. They expect dramatic results after 12 months. Real wealth rarely moves that fast. Instead, it grows quietly, month after month, year after year. Until one day, you realize your investments earned more this month than your savings account earned in the previous 5 years combined. Opportunity changes your thinking. You stop asking how much something costs. You start asking what it costs you to ignore it. Learning a new skill isn't an expense. It's an investment. Starting a side business isn't a gamble. It's an opportunity. Reading for an hour each day isn't wasting time. It's preparing for doors you can't even see yet. Then comes another shift. You begin noticing that wealthy people value something far more than money. Time. Because money lost today can be earned again. Time never returns. You become protective of your calendar. You stop saying yes to every invitation. You stop spending entire weekends scrolling through your phone. You understand that every hour invested wisely has the potential to pay you back for years. This is where the ladder starts becoming steeper, because the next level isn't just about earning more. It's about reaching the point where your investments begin supporting your lifestyle. That's when work transforms from a necessity into a choice. You don't notice the moment it happens. There isn't a notification, no headline, no celebration. One evening, you open your investment account after work. You expected another ordinary month. Instead, you stare at the screen for several seconds. Your portfolio earned more this month than your car payment. Not because you worked harder, not because you asked for a raise, simply because your money kept working while you were busy living your life. For the first time, you understand something that once sounded impossible. Money can become an employee, and unlike people, it never sleeps. Level 5. Independence. This is the level where fear begins losing its grip. You still wake up early. You still go to work. But your relationship with your job changes forever. Your paycheck is no longer your only source of income. Your investments, your side business, your rental property, your dividends, each one quietly removes a little more pressure from your shoulders. Then your boss announces restructuring. A year ago, your heart would have started racing. This time, you listen carefully, but you don't panic, because losing one income stream no longer means losing everything. That's a feeling money alone can't explain. It's confidence. Real confidence isn't believing nothing bad will happen. It's knowing you can survive if it does.
You begin negotiating differently. You ask for higher pay because you know your value. You walk away from unfair opportunities. You stop accepting disrespect simply because you need a paycheck. Freedom changes the way you speak, the way you walk, even the way you think. You become patient. Desperate people chase quick money. Independent people build lasting wealth. That's why they rarely rush. They understand the greatest investments often need years before the results become obvious. You stop comparing your progress to people buying luxury cars online because you finally understand something social media never shows. Wealth is usually invisible long before it becomes visible. Behind every expensive lifestyle are years of boring habits, monthly investments, delayed gratification, countless decisions nobody applauded. Independence isn't glamorous, it's peaceful, and peace is worth far more than appearances.
Even this level has limits. Your investments still support part of your life, not all of it. Then one day, they do. Level 6. Freedom. The first time it happens feels almost unreal. Your rent is paid, your insurance, your groceries, your phone bill, your electricity, everything. Not by your salary, by your assets. You sit quietly looking at your monthly budget. The numbers haven't changed, but their meaning has. For decades, your life depended on waking up every Monday morning. Now, your financial engine keeps moving even while you're asleep. You don't quit your job immediately. Most people don't. Instead, something inside you changes. You begin working because you choose to, not because you're trapped. That difference transforms everything. You finally take the vacation you've postponed for years. You spend an entire afternoon with your parents without constantly checking emails. You read books without feeling guilty that you should be making money instead. Your calendar slowly becomes yours again. And that's when you discover the greatest luxury in the world. Time. Not expensive watches, not designer clothes, not luxury cars. Time. The freedom to decide where your hours go. To say yes without checking your bank account. To say no without fearing the consequences. People often imagine financial freedom as unlimited spending. The reality is almost the opposite. The freer people become, the less they feel the need to prove anything. Status symbols lose their power. Impulse purchases lose their excitement. Experiences become more valuable than possessions. You stop chasing the appearance of wealth because you finally possess something far more meaningful.
Control. But surprisingly, there's still another level waiting. One where money stops being about your own life and starts shaping the lives of others.